trim this. Hi, YouTube. I am doing this video per request on diverticulitis. Diverticulitis is a condition where you have little pouches in your intestines, in your colon, that get inflamed or swollen and infected. And what doctors usually do is they prescribe like an antibiotic to help with the infection and inflammation. And they'll prescribe a diet that's fluids and foods that are high in fiber, stuff that's easy on the stomach. And the reason for that is because these little pouches, they're sensitive, and you may even have, little holes in the intestines. If you Google it, if you Google diverticulitis, you'll see a picture of someone's colon that has the little pouches there that are inflamed, and even like a little couple holes in the intestines, in the digestive tract. So I'm going to use again the example of a balloon. I should have went out and bought one, but I didn't. So you're going to have to use your imagination for this. If you have a balloon and the balloon resembles your colon, the balloon is going to symbolize your colon in this example. Now, your colon is made out of organic materials. It's not made out of rubber like a balloon, but this is just for, an illustration. So your body, or the recipe of your body, is over 70% water. What happens if you habitually remain dehydrated? If you don't drink enough water on a daily basis, what's going to happen to your insides? I'll give you an example of what's going to happen to your insides. Do you wake up with chapped lips? Do you get dry hands? Is the skin on the back of your hands dry? How about your knees, your elbows? How about your scalp? Do you get dandruff? And sometimes you can get oily dandruff, but generally speaking, if you were to take your hand right now, take your nails and run your nails up your leg, is it going to leave a line, an ashy line? Are you ashy? Do you need some lotion? Are you ashy 5 minutes after you put some lotion on after the shower? All these things prove that you're dehydrated. What about when you go to the bathroom? When you have to urinate, does it sound like a waterfall, or does it sound like a little trickling faucet? All these things are indicative of whether or not you are getting enough water in your body. So, seeing as how you are made of water, you need to consume water. You need to drink enough water for your body weight. I can do the research and put it in the description how many ounces of water you need per pound. The same thing goes with foods. You have to eat foods that are high in water content. You don't always want to eat dry foods that are just going to dehydrate you, especially if you're not getting ample amounts of water. That's a no-no. So when you're putting these types of foods in your body that are dry, and especially if you are overeating, which most of us do, I don't think very many of us eat portions the size of our fist, which is roughly supposed to be the size of our stomachs. I really don't think, I know I don't. We all have to do better. But I can't wait to tell you guys, as a side note, I can't wait to tell you guys what I've been doing to lose weight. I've lost a lot of weight and a lot of inches. So I'm going to tell you all about that in my fitness course. But anyway, getting back to the subject, when you overeat habitually and you remain dehydrated habitually, what do you think is happening to your stomach, to your colon? And the same thing if you had a balloon and you put contents in this balloon that you know good and well are going to damage that latex. If you start putting rocks in there and blades of grass and just a little bit of water, not a whole lot of water, but just a little bit, what are those rocks and blades of grass going to do eventually? They're going to make the balloon expand, and the more it expands, it's going to start to rip. It's going to start to shred little indentions in the latex until it rips open. And that's the exact same thing as what's going on with your insides, with your colon. So there was something I was thinking about with that balloon. But basically, you need to make sure that you consume things that are organic, that are easily processed and digested in your stomach. And you don't want to do things that are going to damage your insides. Now, if you had a scab on the outside when you were little and you would fall and scrape your knee or your elbow, and you'll get that little scab or whatever, or even before you get the scab, you end up having like raw flesh. And it hurts when you touch that raw flesh. It hurts. Any rough object will make you scream if it touches that raw flesh, until eventually that scab covers over it and helps you to heal until it is completely renewed, and then the scab will fall off. So when that happens on the outside of your body, what do you think happens on the inside of your body, guys? It's the same thing. You have to allow it time to heal. So that means foods that are easy on your digestive tract. That's going to be foods, once again, high in water content. You have to be very careful with what you eat so that it's not too rough as the insides are trying to heal. And that part should come really easy to you. So that might even mean not even having solid foods for a while. You might even want to go on a liquid diet. You can even go on a fast. I remember when I had my first child, and my best friend at the time, she came to the hospital and she was holding my son. No, first when she came in, I was holding him, and she was like, "Aren't you gonna put on his little outfit that he got? Put on one of those little outfits." So I was trying to put on one of his little outfits, but I was handling him so delicately with such great care. Like I was afraid I was gonna break him. She was like, "Girl, give me that baby, girl. Give me that baby." She was like, "Girl, he ain't gonna break. Put his arms in there." She was like putting his arm in his sleeve, and she was putting it all over his head. He just moving all around and stuff. And it was so funny to me because I thought he was gonna break. I'm like, I ain't never had no baby before. I don't know what to do with these. So she was like, "Yeah, he's not gonna break. Just put it on him. Do what you got to do." So we have to take that same approach when it comes to our bodies. Even though it's kind of, I don't even know if that was the best illustration, but the point I'm trying to make is do not be afraid and do not be intimidated by the insides of your body. Just because you cannot see it, it does not mean that you cannot fix it. You don't want to be intimidated to the point where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this situation. You can handle it. You can handle it as long as you familiarize yourself with what's going on the insides of your body. So, there was something else I was thinking about. That's why I do need to take notes. People see me looking down and to the side and they're like, what are you looking at? Are you looking at notes? No, I'm not, and I should be. So there was something else I was thinking about when I was thinking about how, like the illustration between the balloon and your intestines. But anyhow, that's a lot of information because I'm already at 12 minutes. And I hope this information helps. Oh, I know what I was going to say, guys. When you're sick, especially if you have something like diverticulitis, it hurts. It is what, anytime you feel something and you say, oh, this feels like I got a hole in my stomach, guess what? It probably means you have a hole in your stomach. And when you feel the kind of pain that comes along with it, that pain feels exactly like a hole in my stomach. You know, it feels like that. So listen to your body. Don't ignore it. My same firstborn, in his room that we, you know, in the little nursery we made for him, in the room we made in our home, I remember we would hear like a sound, and it would be random times. We would hear this sound and it sounded like a small tapping sound. And I wasn't really sure what it was. And then one night I was hearing it in the night and I'm like, that almost sounds like, what is that tap? It's like something is tapping the wall. Tap, tap, tap. And eventually, now I remember talking to my husband about it and we just ignored it. It was our first home too. So you know how first time home buyers can be oblivious to things. So we ignored it, and to our detriment, by ignoring that sound, we ended up having a leak in the roof, and eventually it gave, the ceiling gave, and then it started dripping onto the floor in his room. I was like, no, go get somebody to fix this roof, fix this hole. I was like, this is my baby now, you know? So anyway, when you let things go unchecked, you're gonna eventually reap the consequences. So be sure that you pay attention to your body, listen to the signs and to the symptoms. And a book that I love to read by Professor Arnold Ehret, who talks about the mucusless diet. He talks about how animals, when they are sick, say for instance, if you have a little pet dog, it goes inside the dog house when it's sick and it won't come out. It'll just lay there for days. And you're like, what's wrong with my dog? Well, they have something wrong. They won't eat. They won't drink. All they'll do is sleep and rest and lay there until they're better. And then when they're better, they're like jumping up and all over the place. Well, that's what fasting can do for you. And I'll do a different video on that because that's a whole other subject. But when you don't feel good and you feel those kind of pains in your stomach, it'll stop you from eating because your stomach hurts. And rightly so, because if you have holes in your stomach and it's hurting, why would your body uses pain to signal warnings, and that pain is going to stop you from putting something in your mouth instinctively, because it's like, oh no, I got a hole in here, it's going to come out. And like I talked about in the previous video, it's going to come out of this hole, it's going to enter your bloodstream, it's going to cause all kind of problems until you end up with autoimmune diseases. So I'll talk more about fasting in another video. I've already went 15, almost 16 minutes. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you're watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.